Okay. My cup is inside there, in my room. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't need to. Yeah, I don't, because... All right, let's read again just to remind the audience. Okay, so that's a quick read over again. So I'll start. Have a break for a while. نبدأ.
Here's better, isn't it?
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. So as we continue to discuss the book Al-Arba'in Nawawi by Imam Nawawi rahimahullah, and in the last session that we had started discussing Hadith Hadi wal Ishrun, the 21st Hadith. We started the 21st Hadith, and so for today inshallah ta'ala that will continue from where we had left. So we started discussing this Hadith. We mentioned some portion of Hadith, and today we'll complete the discussion relating to this particular Hadith. So the Hadith that we have today, that the Hadith will be read, and then we'll continue having the discussion over this Hadith. Aywa.
Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah. Hadith 21. عن أبي عمرو قيل أبي عمرو سفيان ibn Abdullah رضي الله عنه قال قلت يا رسول الله قل لي في الإسلام قولا لا أسأل عنه أحدا غيرك قال قل آمنت بالله ثم استقم رواه Muslim. The authority of Abu Amr, though others call him Abu Amr, Sufyan ibn Abdullah radiallahu anhu, may Allah be pleased with him, who said, I said, O Messenger of Allah, tell me something about Islam which I could not ask anyone about save you. He answered, say, I believe in Allah and then stand firm and steadfast. Narrated by Muslim.
So this is the hadith that is mentioned as the 21st or the 21st hadith in this collection by Nawawi rahimahullah. So in the last session we mentioned concerning the hadith, and we started discussing concerning matters regarding the narrator of the hadith, who's mentioned here as being Sufyan ibn Abdullah, and mentioned regarding concerning certain discussion between the ulama regarding one, as mentioned or pointed out here by Nawawi rahimahullah, regarding his kunya. So they mentioned that of those who take the position that his name is Abi Amr, then he mentioned Waqil. So sometimes it is mentioned by the ulama that Qil at times showing that there is a difference, and also at times the word Qil, what comes after, may be an indication of that's a weaker position. So at times is to the word Qil, if there's more than one view, is to outline to let one aware that there's more than one opinion. But also at times it could be an opinion, but the word Qil is used based upon that opinion also may be weak, but it's an opinion. They were mentioned concerning Sufyan ibn Abdullah that there is a khilaf regarding, so we discussed concerning the Sufyan and certain matters relating to that narrator. Then we mentioned also regarding the hadith here, as mentioned by Nawawi rahimahullah, mentioned Rawahu Muslim. So by way of, we say takhrij in brief, takhrij of the hadith, which is mentioned in pointing out some of the source of the hadith and also some discussion regarding the hadith. So the normal system and proceed with the system that is followed regarding if the hadith is narrated by either Imam Bukhari rahimahullah in his Sahih or Imam Muslim rahimahullah in his Sahih, then the hadith is not per se discussed much regarding its authenticity. So the hadith being mentioned as being collected by Bukhari and Muslim, that normally indicates the hadith is authentic in most with the ulama. So also he mentioned Rawahu Muslim, but also we mentioned that Busiri rahimahullah, that also he had mentioned certain additional collectors of hadith. So he mentioned Busiri, wa Tirmidhi, wa Sahahu, and also Nasa'i wa Ibn Majah. So amongst what we refer to as Kutubu Sitta, that this hadith is in Sahih Muslim, Tirmidhi in his Jama', also An-Nasa'i wa Ibn Majah. So it's collected from amongst those four of the books of Kutub as-Sitta, four of the books of Kutub as-Sitta. So Then we discussed concerning that of the aqwal of the ulama regarding the importance of the hadith. That mentioned regarding Ibn Rajab Rahimah mentioned that al-istiqama hiya al-suluk al-salat al-mustaqim. So somewhat we have mentioned after the aqwal of the ulama regarding the importance of this particular hadith. Then also we mentioned regarding concerning what is the general meaning of hadith. I think we have discussed those matters. So after when concerning al-shar al-tafsili regarding this particular hadith, that he mentioned hadith as to what has been mentioned, where the Sahabi asked concerning قُلْ لِي فِي Islam, where he asked the Prophet ﷺ regarding for you to mention to me something regarding Islam that he sees as something that is specific or something particular to him that he can benefit from. But by extension, others who hear of this also will benefit from it. But he's asking something which is more personal to him. Then the Prophet ﷺ gave him this answer. So you might find that in many hadiths, that different Sahabi, companions, that they may approach the Prophet ﷺ and ask him for advice. So the person who's there asking from advice. So you find it in many scenarios, you might find this. But in each scenario, you might find that the Prophet ﷺ may give that particular Sahabi an advice that he thought was more suitable for him, even though it is suitable for everyone else. So this means at times when a person is asked others for advice, try to tailor that advice according to that person's situation and condition. So it can be so it can have some more value to the person because that advice is tailored to his situation and circumstance. So you might find that in various situations where different Sahabi or Sahaba have asked of advice, we find that different advice is given to different individual. By way of it being reflecting that person's situation and what may be more suitable for him or her. So this shows in general giving advice that it may varies based upon the person who's asking for that advice and the person who's giving that advice having some general idea regarding what he thinks is the most appropriate to that person who's asking the question. So they mentioned قُلْ لِي فِي Islam. So they mentioned a discussion regarding this hadith. They mentioned that ta'rif al-Islam. So they mentioned concerning Islam, meaning, definition of Islam, linguistically, min khudu', min inqiyad, taslim, id'an. So the word Islam, linguistically, it carries those meanings. So the meaning concerning that, one to be submissive, one to be obedient, have humility. Those are the meaning of Islam linguistically. So the meaning of Islam linguistically, khudu, being submissive, inqiyad, being obedient, taslim, so that's not to surrender or submit, id'an, also for one of humility and the like. So it gives those meaning linguistically. So as for istilahan or shar'an, so shar'an, what is meant by Islam? So Islam, that you have definition that have been given regarding what is Islam shar'an. Of the more popular definition that is mentioned, where the definition is mentioned, al-istislam lillah bi-tawheed. And the definition of Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, al-istislam lillahi bit-tawheed. So one to surrender to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by way of surrender to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's oneness, wa inqiyad lahu bit-ta'a, and also for one to be obedient and having obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command, wal khulus min ash-shirk. And some mentioned wa ahli, and for one to distance oneself, one to free oneself from shirk and the people of shirk. So this is what is meant by, or the definition of Islam. So again, al-istislam lillah bi-tawheed, to surrender to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's oneness, inqiyad lahu bi-ta'a, to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command, wal khulus min ash-shirk wa ahli, and for one to separate oneself, distance oneself, to free oneself from shirk and the people of shirk. So this is the definition of Islam. Another definition is given. They mention that al-Islam also can be defined al-amal al-zahira. So regarding concerning that al-amal al-zahir, so al-imtithal al-awamir al-zahira. So the person is somewhat carrying out, complying with the commands that are apparent. This is Islam. So that gives more concern that is the person complying fulfilling of those actions or those things which is more apparent. So al-Islam, the thing that one can see. And that definition is more given in the hadith of Jibreel alayhi salam. With the hadith of Jibreel alayhi salam, that he defined, we discussed the hadith before, where they asked concerning what is Islam. And the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned more so actions that are zahir, actions that are apparent. What was the Islam that he mentioned? Al-Islam in the hadith of Jibreel. Al-Islam concerning Shahada an la ilaha illallah, wa Muhammad Rasulullah, wa iqam as-salat, wa ita az-zakat, wa sawm Ramadan, wa hajj al-bayt. So also concerning what is Islam, that he mentioned that Islam are those actions that are apparent to the person, one testifying to the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nam, which is at-tawheed, so the person affirming tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also affirming the messengership of the Prophet alayhi salam, Muhammad alayhi salam. That is at-tawheed. So it shows there's an aspect of it which is so those are, then I mentioned different concerning as-salat, was zakat, was siyam, wal hajj. So these are the apparent actions. So that's concerning Islam. So al-Islam, that at times may carry the meaning concerning that a person carrying out those apparent actions of Islam, or those apparent action of the deen. And those will be of the main ones. Those will be of the main one. Those definition concerning the first one we mentioned, those definition. So that's concerning what has been explained as what is Islam. Nam. So the one that is more common in contemporary time is the first. As to what is defined as Islam. Al-istislam lillah bitawheed wa anqiyad lahu bittaha wal khulus aw bara min ash-shirk wa ahli. Where the person free himself from shirk and the people of shirk. So that's concerning the what is Islam. Also with ulama in defining Islam, that they have mentioned also that with Islam, that Islam also can have a meaning which is the one which is al-am wal-khas. So the definition of Islam which is am wal-khas. The definition of Islam which is general and the one which is specific. Nam, as for Islam am, general, it is al-istislam lillah bit-tawheed, al-anqiyad lahu bit-taha, wal-khulus wal-bara min ash-shirk wa ahli. So that's the general meaning of Islam. So that the first meaning we mentioned regarding what is Islam, that for one to what? To surrender to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's oneness, to have obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands, instructions, and third, for a person to distance himself, to free himself from shirk, things of shirk, and the people of shirk. That's Islam am. That's Islam which is general. So that Islam would apply to all of the Anbiya. That Islam would apply to all of the Anbiya. So the deen of all the Anbiya is Islam. And that definition that we just mentioned, it applies to Islam from the first of mankind to the last. As to what is Islam. So that Islam bimana al-am. That's Islam regarding its meaning, that is, what's that, am or universal. Nam. So that definition it applies to all of the Anbiya and their followers. Which those three things are required. Istislam lillah, to surrender to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's oneness, and qiyad lahu bittaha, carrying out acts of obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also al-bara min ash-shirk, and free oneself from. So that definition applies to all of the Anbiya. So that definition concerning that definition applies to all the Anbiya from the first Adam alayhi salam up unto Muhammad alayhi salam. So the definition which is also the definition we discussed that I mentioned that the definition that says ad-din alladhi ja'a bihi Rasul alayhi salam, Muhammad alayhi salam. So Islam is what the Prophet Islam came with from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ma ja'a bihi Muhammad ibn Abdullah min indillah alayhi salam. So what the Prophet Islam came with from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then this is Islam khas. So each Anbiya that their religion they came with to their people will be considered the Islam that is for their people, which is khas. So what Isa alayhi salam came with was for him and his people. That Islam which is more tailored, more specific to that Prophet and his people. So it'll be whoever that Prophet is and what he came with from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We might find certain slight difference in certain things. of the matters regarding halal and haram. Clear? So the Islam which is khas will be that Islam that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ came with and delivered from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regarding matters relating to al-aqidah wa sharia. With me?
Yeah.
So that's what I mentioned. Ad-din inda Allah al-Islam. Ad-din inda Allah al-Islam. That's am. That is am. And I mentioned وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِي غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا فَلَنْ يُقْبَلْ مِنْهُ. So whoever chooses Islam other than Islam as their religion, it will not be accepted. Now, that could be at times am regarding to the time of the Prophet Islam, specific to him, and also am regarding all of the prophets before. واضح? So Islam is am wal khas in certain aspects. So when this person asks, when he says قُلْ لِي فِي الْإِسْلام, he's talking about Islam which is what? Khas. What Prophet Muhammad ﷺ came with. Now, so he's wanting to know concerning what you have brought to us. Give me something tailored to my situation that is more specific to this religion.
And then the Hadith Jibril will be general.
Jibril will be. So the Hadith Jibril concerns that concern the details of it concern could be am or khas concern that that will be that each religion or each of the prophet that they will come that so that really concern specific to is ummah. Got the Hadith of Jibril alayhi salam asking concerning things that relates to this nation. But they said that Hadith is used regarding concerning that Islam at times may be reflection of what is our apparent action. So if I see a person, I don't know the person at all. For example, I travel to with a person. I've traveled to a country which is a foreign country, a country that he doesn't know anyone or doesn't know much people. But then, as he's traveling on his way to his place of abode, you see some people praying. And the roadside, you see some people line up and they're praying. He said, those people doing that act, that's that sign of them being what? Muslim. Because of that apparent action, you said that action I recognize, which is salah. Of ruku was sujood wal qiyam. So you said by that action, even I don't know them, never met them, but by them carrying out that act, then that become an indicator that they are Muslim. And that become now the sign that that you don't have to ask them, are you Muslim? By them doing that act, it shows that they are Muslim. So Islam at time may be by a person fulfilling certain thing which is apparent, that become the indicator or the sign that that person is a Muslim. So by the person just apparent action, you don't have to ask him, are you a Muslim, not a Muslim? You will know because of certain signs. So of the apparent signs, major signs will be as-salat, siyam, hajj, and the likes. So a person might ask that in today's time, a person wants to travel for Umrah or for Hajj. And sometimes they may ask, at whatever council, especially people living in non-Muslim countries, that at times you have to bring a certificate as a proof that you are a Muslim. That's because of the environment. So the name may be John Paul, as an example. That name is not a commonly known Muslim name. And that's not known the person, the country, generally many of the people, the majority of the people that populate in that country may be non-Muslim. So they're just trying to affirm to see, did this person accept Islam and is Islam valid? Because the people who can perform Hajj are only Muslim. So you just confirm because your identity that you are not known to those people. So there's these others to testify. So either you can come with someone to say, yes, this person is a Muslim, or you bring a document to prove that you are a Muslim. So it's not because they deny your Islam, it's just that to prove based upon those factors of non-Muslim country that you're in, that you just want to prove because only a Muslim can perform Hajj. Clear? So they're in doubt of your religion. And in most cases, they don't really refuse people. They don't never refuse people unless something apparent is revealed. So regarding concern that you said that Islam, also from the hadith ulama have mentioned, regarding from the hadith of, that I mentioned, قُلْ في Islam, that boy of the Asan, that Islam, it consists of things of belief and things of actions. So Islam consists of things that relate to the person's belief and also things that relates to law regarding do's and don'ts. So he asked concerning that question concerning what is Islam. So the first concern is kulli fi Islam, regarding things regarding the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and also the sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So offer me some words of advice that reflect that goes back to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Islam and the sharia of Islam. So either matters regarding concerning itiqad or matters regarding the actions of Islam, which he mentioned. Then he said that so mentioned that la as'al anhu ahad ghayrak, that I do not have to ask anyone except you, that I do not have to ask anyone other than you. So this kind of somewhat the person can show that this thing I value, showing that how he valued this information, and that you are the best and the most appropriate person for me to ask of such advice, to give such advice. So he shows in general regarding concerning asking others of advice is something which is allowed in Islam for one to ask others of advice, and also for the one who's asked that for them to that they can offer this advice. A matter to discuss that he mentioned, that somewhere was mentioned, some mentioned ba'dak, we don't have to ask anyone mention ghayruk, or ba'dak, I don't have to ask other than you or anyone except for or outside or after you. So you have those meaning of the hadith that they mentioned regarding concerning that. Is it appropriate during the time of the Prophet Islam, or is it allowed in the time of the Prophet Islam for people to ask other than the Prophet Islam for advice? واضح السؤال؟ So in the time of the Prophet Islam, for someone to go to other than the Prophet ﷺ regarding advice, regarding the deen, is this allowed?
Makes sense.
Huh?
Wouldn't make sense. He would not be there. No.
Hey, so that's not said the question. Not said that. So said, is it? So said no. General concerns, it is allowed. Now, so even though yes, concerning the Prophet ﷺ being the most suitable and ideal, but to ask others, then also it is something which is allowed with a personal advice based upon what they understand regarding Islam. Now, which is let's clarify it. So, so asking, so it goes back to the question regarding concerning that between the ulama of usul al-fiqh they discuss concerning al-ijtihad in the time of the Sahaba. During the time of the Prophet Islam, is a Sahaba allowed to make ijtihad on certain matters while the Prophet Islam was alive? Naam? So it says, and it is Allah said, it was done. And several hadith you find that concerning the hadith of so you find that many cases with the companions that where the Prophet says, لا تصلي إلا في بني قريدة. Naam? So he gave an advice, but they made ijtihad regarding what they understood, what they extracted from it. Do I pray only at the place that he mentioned, or is just kind of somewhat a word just comes to move as swiftly as possible? But if salat was to, as la tusalli as-salatul asr illa fi bani qurayda, you understand? Two parties kind of somewhat understood a little bit different, but same instruction given to two group of people. So, so at times instruction is given that individuals who heard the same information might come to a different understanding. Now, and I would say if that applied to the Prophet Islam or about other than the Prophet Islam, that as alim, so after may say something, and both different people may understand somewhat a slight difference in the information. So at times that may occur. Now sometimes that may occur. Hey, so said, hey, it occurs. So it does occur. So sometimes though, it's the way things up. Where sometimes it's just the information, how it is understood. How it is understood. So in the sense of not sometimes to be harsh in condemning others, where the information, or what other person understanding it may have a justification. With me? So overall concerning, so it shows regarding concerning, so a next matter that comes from this, that sometimes might hear at times, so of the next, are you with me? So of the things that sometimes also put in context. Waqf?
No, the electric gun and put on the socket.
Yeah, that thing might trip it sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes that trip it. Am I still being recorded?
Yeah, no, go take it. It's still recording. Go. Just take that out, so it's fine.
Yes.
Hey. Now, so the next matter of something to put in context. Now this understanding, where sometimes a person might say, asking concerns, asking other than the Prophet ﷺ while he's alive. So the same thing regarding studying from people who are, sometimes a person says, that shabab, go and study from the ulama. That's the general statement, isn't it? Go, if you want to learn Islam, go and sit beneath the feet of the ulama. The statement is correct as a general statement, but in application needs to be put in context. So a statement says that go and study from people that are qualified. Not necessarily that person who's qualified is the top of the chain. You understand? So sometimes person study from the ulama, not to be understood that as you only, for example, in our time, to see who are the top tier, the top level. For example, who are the top tier? For example, Sheikh Fawzan, Sheikh Muhsin Abad, Sheikh Abdul Khayyim al-Khudair, Sheikh Abdul Aziz al-Raji'i. Those are the top tier. Ma'am, the less concerned is no. Sheikh Saad al-Shitri, top tier. As examples. Are they the only one that we have to go and study from? Because if that's the case, then we said, if that's the case, then yeah, you're going to find that's not, number one, that's never been the reality. Even considered that never really concerned from the past nor present. Then that would mean anyone who's not to that caliber that you shouldn't be teaching. And people shouldn't sit with them. Which you said, no, that does not apply. So the person says, go and sit with ulama. At times, if the person is somewhat to put things in context. That doesn't mean you are restricted only to go and sit with the top tier of the ulama of our time. But it means that sit with the people who are qualified. Sit with people that are qualified. Now, so those things sometimes people may use a statement, but it just concerns to be understood properly.
Okay, but what if it's in the case where you're, because I was reading on, for example, the scholars of the past, when they would go on rihla
You're seeking knowledge. Hey.
They'll go to a particular ballad, and when they get to that ballad, they're looking for the top tier though. They want the top tier.
Okay, understood. Clear. And Ujib. Naam. So I said that so the question is concerned that you might find that what is mentioned in the books of the ulama regarding ar-rihla fi talabat al-ilm, that a person traveling out to study the people of ilm. Now, so it's let's know that at times for the people that they'll try to target in a particular place where they're going to travel to, the people on the top tier, the top level. Now, that usually comes concerning that in those cases concerning rihla fi talabat al-ilm, that in the books of rihla fi talabat al-ilm, that a person, the proceed concerning rihla, it comes after the person have studied from the ulama of his locality, the people of ilm from his locality. So, when you have gained from the people from your locality, so a person wouldn't start at the beginning and just travel out. You understand? So first you get the foundation from the people, the ulama, the people of ilm in your locality. Then after you start to go out. So the rihla usually comes in the person of a a foundation. Now he has all the tools that he needs. He has now benefited from what is in the locality. Now he want now to go to. Now say something might have people in the locality that are also the top tier, but also where that it may vary where the person want to specialize, or also to compare what he has learned before from what is now I get from other ulama outside his locality. So you can see things from a different perspective. And also at times to study the people who are the top tier that are maybe not available in your locality. So it might serve, so it might be for different reason, objective. So not necessarily, in a sense, it may varies with one person to another. Like a person who wants to leave from, as an example, leave from London, from England, but he has no Arabic. Would it be wise to tell him to go and just study where? Where the first thing would be learn Arabic in your locality or a place that you can learn the language, then you can now sit with people elsewhere and truly benefit from them. So to have no Arabic and to go and sit with the top tier of the ulama, then you spend years maybe just not achieving much. So you have those cases where people have met rihla from England to place where they had no Arabic, and for years they were just there, just looking the face of the sheikh. And just during the daytime, just walking out, going around, and just, you understand, not benefiting much from time. Because they didn't have the tools, which is to sit with the sheikh. So the person who sits with the sheikh and to truly benefit, then you must have of those main tool, the language. So where are we at? So setting out those matters regarding concerning that benefit from others is not necessarily the person have to benefit from the top tier. That one can benefit from all those people who are less qualified, but they are qualified. They may be less qualified, but they are qualified. Then I mentioned the Prophet ﷺ, then he mentioned regarding the person concerning قُلْ آمنت بالله ثُمَّ اسْتَقِم. Then after advice that was given to the person, the Prophet ﷺ, they mentioned قُلْ آمنت بالله ثُمَّ اسْتَقِم. That for you want to say, I believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then be upright. So as for the first one, it's like a two-part answer. Even it's one sentence. So the sentence can be divided into two parts. The first part regarding قُلْ آمنت بالله. And the second part of the sentence, ثُمَّ اسْتَقِم. Then be upright. Some mention concerning that thumma at times may indicate that things are done in order. That the word thumma at times may indicate things being done in an order. So the first is the person try to acquire the first thing and then move on to the second thing. So as for the first section of the hadith, it mentioned قُلْ آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ. So as concerning that, قُلْ آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ, concerning al-iman of those who mention آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ, that this kind of somewhat instructing, advising the person, that first thing that a person should take to account is regarding that strengthen your iman billah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and having correct, sound iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's concerning the first portion of the sentence. So they mentioned concerning al-iman shar'an, it means concerning, according to the ulama, that they'll define concerning what is iman. You have various between Ahl Sunnah definitions that are given regarding what is defined as iman. So the simpler one concerning al-iman, qawl wal amal. And many of the salaf that they'll use this definition, al-iman, qawl, al-qawl wal amal. So iman, qawl wal amal, it is speech and action. Then as for the more common definition of iman in our time, in contemporary times, that they define iman al-i'tiqad bil janan, to have belief in the heart, not bil lisan, speech with the tongue, wal amal bil arkan wal jawarih, and action with the limbs, and actions with the limbs. So that's the general, that's of the definitions that are given regarding what is iman. So the least, al-iman, qawl wal amal. Also another way that it is defined or expressed, al-ittiqal bil janan, belief in the heart, nukt bil lisan, speech with the tongue, وَأَمَلْ بِالْأَرْكَانِ وَالْجَوَارِحِ, and action with the limbs. So this is concerning what is mentioned as what is Iman in the Ahl Sunnah. So also you find that with the ulama, that also that they will make a clear distinction regarding concerning of those masail regarding a deen, that of the early thing where people started to deviate. One of those areas regarding Iman, what is said to be what is Iman. So in the early days of Sahaba, of the definition that occurred from the people who deviated in the time of the Sahaba, anhum, that matters relating to al-Iman. So you find that the Khawarij, regarding of their definition of the thing that they deviated regarding, which in the early days, their understanding as what is Iman. The Mu'tazila and others, the Murji'ah, so you have certain main groups regarding how they understand Iman, that they have deviated. Those groups, regarding their understanding of Iman, still continue until today. Regarding concerning Khawarij / with also the Mu'tazila, they go to one extreme regarding Iman, and they're the ones that for them, because of their understanding of what is Iman, it becomes easy for them to pass hukum regarding takfir. So takfir is a legitimate ruling in Islam, but it has guidelines and rules that apply to it. If one does not follow those rules, then one can go to the extreme of being one who's hasty and quick in passing takfir. And that's concerning the Khawarij. Then to the next extreme of them, we have the Murji'ah. So the Murji'ah, that they are the extremes that they say that they see Iman that they do not hold that action is a part of Iman. So the Murji'ah, that's what they see, that action is not a part of Iman. So let's have belief and just say La ilaha illallah and khalas. Just say I believe, and the person has uttered the words of Islam, and that's it. And so your action, so you find that with the Murji'ah, at times, that the person leaving away actions, even yes, and for them, those things, they're very complacent in that area. So a person maybe doesn't pray, doesn't fast, but he says La ilaha illallah, he says I'm a Muslim, he doesn't perform Hajj, the word he understands drink, so the person is Iman, mashallah. So that's what said, so they become complacent in that area. We got somewhat to know, it said, they kind of water down matters regarding al-Iman. So overall, back to what we're discussing regarding al-Iman, as we had mentioned the definition of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, on what is defined as Iman. So Iman consists of those three arkan: I'tiqad, Qawl, wal Amal. And those three components that they go together and must be together: belief, actions, and speech. All of those make up what is said to be al-Iman. So the next discussion regarding concerning Iman that is mentioned by the ulama, or mentioned regarding of the discussion regarding Iman, matter printed Iman regarding concerning that, especially us in this climate or in this environment. That when we look to a person regarding Iman, that person's situation regarding concerning, when it says, when the Prophet a person approaching already a believer, but the Prophet told a person, قُلْ آمنت بالله ثُمَّ اسْتَقِمْ. So it says, no, have belief in Allah, say I believe in Allah, then be upright. But a person already a what? A believer. So why tell a believer to say, قُلْ, say I believe, and then be upright? So it turns out to say I believe. So that's not regarding concerning the people, regarding what is required from them regarding Iman, what we require from others regarding Iman. So if a person's situation regarding his place is condition regarding Iman, one, if a person is a kafir, what is required? If the person is a kafir, what is required for the person to have belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The shahada wa tawheed. So the person is a kafir. Of those things that is required from him is to dukhul fil Islam. That's the first thing required. So the person a kafir, the thing that is required from him, approaching that person, The message for that person is for the person to enter into Islam. As in the hadith concerning Al-Mu'ad being sent to Al-Yaman. So the Prophet mentioned, أول ما تدعوهم إليه شهادة لا إله إلا الله. Then he mentioned, ثم الصلاة. So the person, regarding the person as a kafir, a disbeliever, of those things that is expected concerning the message to him regarding Islam is for him to have the basic belief for him to enter into Islam, which is belief now, which is at-tawheed, wal-risala. So, as for the person who's a kafir, you address the message for him is not to go into the Indians and every detail of Islam, because that's not required from him at this stage of his situation. So what is required is regarding the thing that is required for him to enter into Islam. So it doesn't begin concerning that. So I don't have to explain to him regarding, as we mentioned, so that I don't have to explain to the person regarding why about having 4 wives, 2 wives. They do not need for you to go into those details. Why niqab and not wearing niqab? You don't need to go into those details. The thing that is required for that person, at-tawheed, wal-risala, knowing who's Allah and knowing who's His Prophet. And Islam in general, regarding salat, arkan Islam. That's what's required for that person. So sometimes the person going out there giving da'wah, and for the person that kafir is going into this, that, going into all some intricate matters. If the person who's asking said, especially the person who's an open platform, or those are open platform, and a person goes into intricate matter, pull them on the side. Because that person, a kafir, a disbeliever, he may have studied something about Islam and have certain questions that are more specific, tailored to him. Then you pull him aside, because that's for the general public. With me? So something a person was giving, you have to get a somewhat know how to put things in its proper place at times. Because the person might have certain question, is not for the general public. Because that question he might have is putting shubha in the general public arena. And you don't want that. So it's known how to put those things in perspective. So I said, a shahid, the point regarding the person who is a non-Muslim, the message for him is basic Islam. What's the beauty of Islam? Tawheed, al-risala, prophethood. Those are the basic things for that person. Now, the next person, regarding what is required regarding al-iman, the person already is a Muslim. The person who's already a Muslim. So as for the person who's already a Muslim, so what is required regarding Islam is regarding Islam is regarding tahqiq al-ziyada. How to help the person concerning tahqiq al-iman, or for the person to solidify his iman, to strengthen his iman. Also is diyad, or for the person now to improve his iman. So the person already a Muslim is how to improve and to strengthen your iman. So that's his message. And also tahqiq al-Islam, so the other things regarding al-Islam, also to strengthen those things. So the foundation thing that is explained for the Muslim regarding salat, siyam, hajj, umrah, zakat, those things of Islam for the person already a Muslim, then is now how to strengthen and increase those things for that Muslim, and to avoid things of mukhalafat. That's for that person who's already a Muslim. Now, and those things to be strengthened, is what those things that are, so it's look to see what can be strengthened regarding the person already a Muslim. So the person is a new Muslim, the person already took his shahada, just coming to Islam. Again, you don't have to discuss everything for them. But what are those things you can give to the person that are practical for him or for her, that will help to increase the image, encourage the person to be on salat, that he's praying correctly, now making wudu correctly, that he knows to fast correctly, he goes to the masjid, what are the adab of the masjid, now those things that he deals on a day-to-day basis, then those things you try to strengthen and to set him right on those things. With us? Then you have a next person who's now said, we have Muslim, we have a person who's a mu'min already, you understand, already, and a more solid foundation. Use the word, a more solid foundation. So the thing for that person now to strengthen regarding that person is regarding istikmal al-iman. How for the person now to perfect his iman. How for that person to perfect and to have mudawwama. How for the person also to be consistent on those things and to improve on those things. So the person, for example, I read upon istiqamah, to have said more firm, that he prays, for example, that pray more. So make sure to know that all your salat, that they're in place, and also if they're the one that are the common ones, is rawatib are in place, then add to it nawafil. Extra nawafil. You read Quran, how many said juz a day? Increase on that. So for a person, as you know, so the person who's a beginner, new Muslim, just getting this, read the Quran as often as possible. The person who's already found it, every day. For you, every day. The person who's with his siyam, that is doing Mondays and Thursdays, then add to that the other nawazah, then add to that, be consistent upon that. And the other nawafil as-siyam that are there, make sure that all those ones are intact. So that's concerned the person already said have a solid foundation. The person already had then the person istikmal with ziyada, try to increase and also have consistency and also aim for perfection regarding what is carrying. Also is salat, that tries to perfect his salat. Is there anything any errors that I need to, that I'm praying as the Prophet Islam prayed, from start through to the end?
Would that even mean changing
No.
things that you, for example, like the opening dua, add to that?
Yeah, all of those things. So the person considered istikmal is salah, that all the things to be done, that they're in place from start to end. Okay. So make everything is done as they should be done. And seen how to improve. That's concerned that so that's concerned the first part, so that's concerned that, and also that's concerned that the first part regarding we mentioned آمنت بالله, and also concerning آمنت بالله concerning the person's aqidah. That the person regarding his aqidah is understanding regarding matters that relates to, let's say, that belief, or that's the other word they use for aqidah, creed. That a person also has to know, make sure that that though the person's belief, it is sound based upon Al-Quran wa Sunnah. So regarding concerning matters relating to belief, that the person upon the aqidah of Ahl Sunnah mabni, that is based upon dalil, and what the Salaf were upon. So the person try to ensure that his aqidah also is as that would be the foremost of things. قُلْ آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ. Make sure that your understanding regarding Allah and matters Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, matters regarding belief, that is the extension from this, that they are sound, with no deviation, no khurafat. So matters regarding at-tawheed, understand tawheed, I've studied the matters concerning at-tawheed in full depth. Also matter that relates to ash-shirk, and knowing those things to avoid regarding ash-shirk wal mukhalafat. That I mentioned the second portion of the hadith mentioned ثُمَّ اسْتَقِمْ. That I mentioned the second portion of the hadith mentioned ثُمَّ اسْتَقِمْ. So I mentioned regarding concerning al-istiqamah, that a person also that have belief. So it shows regarding concerning, I will mention that al-iman, as I mentioned, qawl al-amal, or iman matters regarding al-i'tiqad. So I mentioned in this hadith, it says qul, say, آمنت بالله. So you tend to say this. So this statement, our person is required to say, is by way of declaring regarding, is say amantu, his belief in Allah, and that also extends to the person having statements, which will be extended saying it with qawl bil lisan, I'tiqad, having belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and matters of belief, and ثم استقم, and be upright. Then the person now goes through the carrying out the actions of Islam. Now the person now carrying out the actions of Islam, now demonstrating or demonstrating the action of Islam or the application of Islam. So this, from this hadith we can take what? The meaning of al-iman. The meaning of al-iman. Then they mentioned ثم استقم. The second portion of the hadith, they mentioned ثم استقم. So they mentioned concerning that alif sin wa ta, meaning concerning a talab. So the person talab, so the person is seeking al-istiqamah. Person seeking to be upright. And it should concern now to be upright, it requires for the person to seek and put effort. So regarding for the person to have his stances to be upright, it requires effort. A person just sitting in his house and doing nothing will not may not accomplish much. Will not accomplish much. So regarding concerning istiqamah, it requires effort. It requires juhud. They mentioned concerning that istiqamah. What is istiqamah? Yeah, aqwal among the ulama are many statements that have been mentioned regarding how the ulama deem as what is istiqamah. What is al-istiqamah? Al-istiqamah lugatan i'waj means something is did al-i'waj, meaning is opposite something which is like bent or crooked. So istiqamah is opposite something being crooked. So istiqamah al-istiwa, where something somewhat straight. Something is straight and upright. As for istiqamah, istilahan in the ulama, as for what they have been mentioned regarding aqwal of the ulama regarding istiqamah, that of those who have mentioned that al-istiqamah, what is intended or meant by istiqamah, here al-muhafadha ala fi'l al-ta'at al-zahira wal-batina. So of the meaning of what is mentioned by the ulama regarding what is al-istiqamah, al-muhafadha, so the person being muhafadha, trying to preserve or protect, doing acts of obedience, apparent acts of obedience, those external acts of obedience. So is again the definition concerning muhafadha ala fi'l ta'at zahir wal batina, that a person trying to muhafadha, said the muhafadha, try to preserve and to protect, doing acts of obedience that are apparent and outwardly and inwardly. Outwardly and inwardly, external and internal. في جميع الأماكن, in any place. So concerning istiqamah, that a person carry out acts of obedience, apparent and the non-apparent, whether in any location, in any place, أو في أو أوقات أو جميع الأوقات, at all times and all places. وَتَرْكَ الْمُخَالَفَاتِ, and leaving away things that goes in opposition to this. Or going away and doing wrong things, doing things that are wrong. So from this definition shows concern that the person trying to have consistency, try to protect and to preserve acts of obedience. What are these acts of obedience? Are things that are external or internal. What are these acts? And also these things to be done at all place and time. So istiqamah is not based upon time and place. When I'm in this location, I'm upright. When I'm in the next location, I'm something else. Then there's a lack of inconsistency. Lack of inconsistency. So istiqamah is being consistent, having consistency. And also a part of istiqamah is not just doing of good, but also leaving away tark al-mukhalafat, leaving away things that are wrong. Leaving away things that are wrong, wrongdoings. After ulama mentioning concerning al-istiqamah, al-mutabi'ah lis-sunnah al-muhammadiyah ma takhalluq bil-akhlaq al-mardiyah. So after ulama mentioned concerning istiqamah, al-mutabi'ah lis-sunnah is for the person to follow the sunnah al-Muhammadiyya of the Prophet ﷺ, and also with having good akhlaq, having outstanding akhlaq. So that's also another definition of al-istiqamah. Once again, al-mutabi'a li-sunnah, for the person to adhere to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, sunnah al-Muhammadiyya, the Prophet ﷺ sunnah, with having, displaying upright, outstanding behavior and conduct. واضح؟ Of those who mentioned that al-istiqamah and yakhtar al-abd ala Allah and la yakhtar al-abd ala Allah shay, that not for the person to choose anything. What mean concerning la yakhtar al-abd? Not to choose anything over Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. La yakhtar al-abd, not for the servant to choose anything over Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning al-istislam at-tam lillah, for the person to have complete surrender, submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَتَرْكَ التَّقْدِيمِ بَيْنِ يَدَيْهِ اللَّهِ subhanahu wa ta'ala, and not to put anything before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is of the definition of istiqamah. So said, those of the definition that have been put forth regarding concerning al-istiqamah. Another that they mentioned, قيل al-istiqamah هي سداد والعصابة في النيات والأقوال والأعمال. For the person, السداد or sadad والعصابة, for the person to be on point and correct in his intention, his speech and action. So to be on point, hit the target regarding one's intentions, one's actions and one's statements. That's concerning of the definition that is put forward regarding what is al-istiqamah. So to be on point regarding our intention, our statements and also our actions, which will go in depth concerning the person, and also for the person did ad-dalal, that the person tried to avoid falling into misguidance and deviation, and a person trying to avoid deviation regarding in our intent, so not to have deviation in our intent, not to strike the point or the target regarding our intention. So always have correct intention, not to have ill intent. Also try to be on point, not to fall apart off the mark regarding our statements and also our actions. So those are the of some of the definition that is given regarding al-istiqamah. Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah, he mentioned al-istiqamah did tughyan. Al-istiqamah did tughyan. That istiqamah, it is opposite tughyan. So the opposite, if you're not upon istiqamah, you're upon tughyan, that you are upon wrongdoing or some form of tughyan, transgression, some form of transgression, which is mujawat al-had. So the person that you're going over what is expected, you're not doing what is expected, you're not complying as expected. So istiqamah are some of the definitions we mentioned regarding concerning al-istiqamah. So it shows regarding al-istiqamah that istiqamah it covers all aspects regarding the deen. Regarding concerning istiqamah regarding aqidah, istiqamah regarding ibadat, that carrying out ibadah, acts of worship correctly, aqidah being correct, ibadat being correct, our mu'amalat, our dealings correct, also akhlaq being correct. All this is a part of istiqamah. Even concerning ad-da'wah, that also concerning regarding ad-da'wah wa ta'aleem, which is da'wah ta'aleem, that all those things istiqamah, that try to be of istiqamah, do things correctly regarding all aspects of the deen. That is istiqamah. And having consistency. They mentioned that, from what is mentioned by the definition that I've been given, that said that madar, what is said that the core regarding concerning istiqamah, it surrounds regarding concerning istiqamah, here, ityan al-ma'murat, that a person carry out those things that he has been instructed or been commanded, ala sidq, and being genuine, so the person carrying out those things required from him in a genuine way. Nam, as-sidq, wal ikhlas, having ikhlas, sincerity as they say, wa ijtinab manhiyat, and avoiding those things which is forbidden, ala id'am wal istislam, and the person being submissive and having submissiveness. So that's concerning al-istiqamah. Nam, so the person carry out what is expected from us as we have been instructed, but having sidq wal ikhlas, being genuine and having ikhlas, and also avoiding those things that are forbidden, and also the person doing so with being with sincerity. Also from aqwal of the Salaf regarding istiqamah, that Uthman ibn Affan radiyallahu anhu قال الاستقامة, what he mentioned, واستقاموا, he mentioned أخلصوا العمل لله. Al-istiqamah, he defined or mentioned أخلصوا العمل لله, that a person that al-istiqamah, that a person should be of sincerity in his action for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So have sincerity, carry out things with sincerity for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أخلصوا العمل لله. Ali ibn Abi Talib radiyallahu anhu قال الاستقامة وابن عباس. So Ali ibn Abi Talib wa ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma قال أدوا الفرائض, that for them a part of istiqamah is أدوا الفرائض, that you fulfill, carry out those things which is of the thing which is compulsory upon you. So for us, comply, carry out that which is compulsory. Al-Hasan al-Basri rahimahullah قال استقاموا على الله, استقاموا على أمر الله وعملوا بطاعته واجتنبوا معصيته. That استقاموا على أمر الله, for the person to be upright, to be consistent regarding submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's instructions, command, وعملوا بطاعته, and for the person to act in obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, واجتنبوا معصيته, and for the person to avoid what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have made forbidden, and to avoid what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have made forbidden. Al-Mujahid قال الاستقامة استقاموا على شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله. استقاموا على شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله. So all of those meetings can somewhat saw the ulama regarding istiqamah, that each given can somewhat an aspect of what is istiqamah, highlighting an aspect of what is istiqamah. So of those concerning that show regarding istiqamah, having a class in our actions, of istiqamah, carrying out those things that are compulsory, al-istiqamah, carrying out what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have instructed us, and by way of acts of obedience, and leaving away those things of disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All of this are part, and I mentioned al-istiqamah also of the shahada la ilaha illallah. So all this is al-istiqamah. All of this was al-istiqamah. Because the time with istiqamah, والاستقامة okay, because of the time. As for istiqamah, of those things regarding istiqamah, they said asbab al-istiqamah. Asbab al-istiqamah, ways to remain steadfast. And of istiqamah, ways to remain steadfast. So things that one can do and use, things that one can use to remain upon istiqamah, to have istiqamah. Of one that is mentioned, I find that Sheikh Abdul Razak al-Badr, Hafidullah Ta'ala, that he has a book that discusses about concern about 10 qawahid regarding istiqamah, what thabat. We encourage anyone to, those who can read that book to read it. So they mention about 10 qawaid or rules regarding al-istiqamah. So if you go to his site or put it in, then you will find those points that he mentioned regarding ways to achieve istiqamah. So again, concerning things to achieve al-istiqamah, kind of somewhat that he mentioned haqiqat al-istiqamah. So I think that he mentioned haqiqat al-istiqamah, that the reality of istiqamah, luzum. So he mentioned that to achieve istiqamah, the true reality of istiqamah, he mentioned luzum al-manhaj al-qawim, for a person to follow a correct manhaj, methodology, was sarat al-mustaqim, and for a person to hold to the sarat al-mustaqim, to the straight path. So that's what we mentioned regarding istiqamah. And one can add to it iqtisad fil umur, iqtisad fil umur, and to be moderate or try to a balanced way regarding affairs. Balanced way in affairs regarding not to go to extreme. Al-iqtisad regarding umur al-deen, meaning a person that you follow a balanced approach to the deen. We don't go over the top, nor go to the next extreme of being too complacent. So al-iqtisad fil umur al-deen, that a person follows things in a balanced way. So mentions that. So in this sense, for example, the Khawarij, as we mentioned before, that regarding deen, in certain things that in carrying out of acts of ibadah, that when the Sahaba saw them, that were people were always fasting. Their hands, you can see the sign of them praying, their face, so you could see sign, but they still were, people went over the top. So they have an aspect regarding carrying out actions and putting ijtihad, putting effort in these things, but they went over the top on certain things, so they became misguided. So a person in his action may be on it to some degree, but because of the certain concepts and idea that they have, he's now off it, because he has gone to extreme. And you find out with that also, the extreme, that in certain of the Khawarij regarding, they become so extreme in certain that for the woman, that they stand in other matters also, that because of this being so stern, that certain ruqsa, certain leniency that Islam gave, they remove it. Everything to them you have to be stern and harsh. So leniency, they kind of somewhat, they remove it from Islam. So it's the thing that Islam allows, certain allowances, we use the word leniency, certain allowances that Islam gave, that they kind of somewhat, they turned away from those things. So, as for of those things that can be used as a form to aid regarding istiqamah, that and know that istiqamah is something that is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yu'ti man yasha. Al-istiqamah, fadlullah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yu'ti man yasha, is a virtue, something given from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to whom he wish from his servant. In the sense of as something for a person in a time in his life is upon istiqamah. But a Muslim in a time in his life is upon istiqamah, and a time in his life is off it. So it's a grace from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yu'ti man yasha, that he gives whom he wishes. It's not something that we have full control over, but we make effort. We make effort. So of those things regarding istiqamah, one that is mentioned regarding al-ikhlas and-niyyah lillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. Having al-ikhlas, having ikhlas to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so having correct intention, which is that for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever we're doing is for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That you find that go contrary there concerning ikhlas, we are concerning, and you find that a person said that you find concerning that, ikhlas, who said nullified regarding that you look to anything you do, go back that you're doing for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's not because of this person being upright, I'm upright. I'm upright because of this person. I'm on it because of this person. Because that person, things may change for them. And throughout the years, that you find that even concerning Mashaykh, that people that we have known, and those that we may not have known, that one day they were upright. We have Mashaykh that we know, that they were on the dawah, calling the du'at. And then, Qadrullah Masha, that, as I said, no, at that point, yu'ti man yasha, and remove it from whom you wish, and we find certain Mashaykh that they left the dawah. Bear in mind that it says, yes, concerning of the Mashaykh that said that have come to England, being specific, that you have Mashaykh who have come to England. They have come that, that they were upon the dawah, not and a few have left the dawah. And some of them said, so there are a few that were upon the dawah, been a part of the Mashaykh who would travel different countries, even have visited England, visited the masajid that are known for the dawah, and a few of those Mashaykh, they have left the dawah. Now, I don't want to mention specific name, but there are few. Yes, regarding concerning, for example, us at Brixton Masjid, I'm not, that's in that we have hosted over many years, many Mashaykh. And no masjid, with a Brixton masjid, any masjid, that it means that, that they will condone everything that the Shaykh said throughout his life. Or agree. Sir? Because certain things the Shaykh might say, based upon ijtihad, is ijtihad. So it's open that, give and take. Especially you find that other Mashaykh may disagree with him. And that's the yardstick. It's not a person that says, the Imam of Masjid Fulan in England disagree with the Shaykh. What you have, your disagreement, put that aside. The yardstick is not the Imam for the Masjid in England, because their level is after, this is a du'at level. So I said that the yardstick concerning any disagreement regarding any Shaykh is him with other Mashaykh. With me? So I said, of those Mashaykh that have come and said, that people have attacked the Masjid because that we have hosted Mashaykh in the past and whatever time, and those Shaykh, according to them, have left the dawah. Okay, let's have that discussion regarding one, those Mashaykh that you say have left the dawah, bring to us regarding, and that we have aid and support them, that what that Shaykh have said that is off, that you can prove it with dalil, that we support him, that we have said openly what that Shaykh have said, we agree with him. So he must have said or written something that you disagree with him, that goes against the da'wah, and there's evidence to prove that what he has said or written go against the da'wah. Bring us the dalil that what he has, that confirm what he has said, and also bring us where we at Brixton have said that we agree with him on the thing that is incorrect. With me? Comes to criticize, because so criticism regarding that is that you support him. I mean that you're supporting something which is wrong. Bring the wrong that he has done where we or others are supporting him. So by saying you support the person, we said because we said, but people when they mean that you support the Shaykh, you're still with him, it doesn't mean that you haven't openly criticized him and condemned him or said isqat, that you haven't bring him down and make tabdi upon him. So a person said, oh, yours are used to be mindful. When a person that you still support that Shaykh, it does mean, it's not that you have, it means that you have not made tabdi or whatever position they hold about that Shaykh. You haven't per se openly declare that. So they see it as the fact that you haven't openly condemn him, drop him, say he's off, then according to them, you still support him. And that's, so I said all these things is said that the yardstick is ilm. The yardstick regarding a person being off or on is ilm. Not based upon what we think. Now, so the next matter, that's what said that ikhlas. The next of the matter to mention, muwadhabat ala dhikrillah. The second of those things, person having consistent regarding the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, dhikrullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So having consistency on this matter. And that is carried out regarding after salawat. It includes regarding the person reading of the Quran, reading of books of ilm. So all these things are included. And the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as often as possible with istighfar and the likes. So the person with a different one, dhikr at tamheed, and all those forms of dhikr, the person having consistency and doing this a lot in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But said of that, the peak of said reading of the Quran. That will be included, reading of the Quran and also Hadith. Third, hirs ala ada al-wajibat wal at-ta'at. Third, that a person show keenness, exercise keenness in carrying out those acts that are wajib and acts of obedience in general. So once we said acts of wajib, that will come as priority, and also acts of ta'at, that also concerns, those other things which said that the people may class as the sunnah acts. So whatever the acts of obedience, them being wajib and otherwise, that a person try their best to be consistent on those things. And also of those things regarding salamat al-mu'taqad, that regarding concerning that of those things, the wajibat of the priority, that a person try to ensure that his aqidah is sound and correct. We said fourth, talab الزيادة في العلم أو طلبة العلم وإزدياد في العلم. So the person that in seeking of knowledge, so the person try to put effort in seeking of knowledge of Islam, and also for the person who's on the path of knowledge, izdiyad. So the person who's on the path that always trying to increase. So the person who are already on the path of seeking of knowledge always find ways to increase, and that ways to increase comes at some time in the West. The person who may have studied and see himself a talib al-ilm, and especially those ones who have maybe studied overseas or studied and have returned, that at times regarding concern of the way of izdiyad of ilm, that for them regarding consistency in reading the books that you already have, seeking books that you do not have that are important material to have, so also increase in books that you have. So that is an aib, the ulama mentioned, an aib for talib al-ilm, the books that you are not buying more books. It's an aib that a person is still not buying other books, not accumulating other books. So the person, so that's other new information. So the person to widen his horizon, to increase, is also other books, acquiring of books, other books. Also regarding concern of those things regarding is the concern, especially concern the person with the talib, who's already like back home involved in teaching of those things regarding that, that they should also, that you find that it's common, and they say that traveling and to sit with the Mashaykh. So for the talib who's already returned, who have studied overseas and now back in his country and teaching, also that have a program that either you're doing your own program regarding listening to the Mashaykh, in concern to know that in their durus that they have, studying books with them, online studies, and also at times that to go overseas and to sit with the Mashaykh and to study with them. So it's as an advice to those who might listen or hear, and that I see it as, Allahu A'lam, that for each masjid of the Sunnah, each masjid of the Sunnah, that masjid have that responsibility, that they should ensure that as a part of that the Imam and the teacher in the masjid, that Imam, that they send him once a year to go and sit with the Mashaykh. 10 days, 15 days, 2 weeks, whatever. Something which is reasonable. For him to still to increase his knowledge and to be with the Mashaykh and to be in that environment. So it's upon the masajid to have that system in place where the people who are the tullab in the masajid, that they give them, what's it now? What I just said, send them overseas for a week or two, 10 days, to go and to study with the mashaykh. Naam? And that's a part of that talib, increasing of his knowledge through those ways. What we are fifth. Try to do them quicker. So, also added to this concerning that for the talib al-ilm, or concerning al-istiqama, talabat al-haq, bath al-haq, for the person always to try to seek out the truth. So a concept of istiqama, always trying to find what is the haq. And that can someone go with ilm. So the person always trying to investigate, to research about matters, to ensure that that is of the correct understanding. So always seeking the haq. So at times meaning concerned to know that we will find among some that what they have learned about Islam, the early generation regarding Dawat regarding concerning those in the early generation regarding Dawat al-Salafiyah in the West, the knowledge that they have of Dawat al-Salafiyah then is the same thing that they have today. Not much increase and not much change. And they haven't per se revisit some of the things that they have studied 10 years, 15, 20 years ago. Now, so at times, talabat al-haq, da'im, the person constantly, always seeking of the truth and also revising certain things, or certain masail, or certain matters, especially concerning also of those things, luzum jama'at al-muslimin. Luzum jama' al-muslimin. So the person always luzum al-jama'. Jama' al-sunnah wal-hadith. So the jama' al-muslimin meaning al-hadith wal-athar. So the person that always tried to remain with the main body of the Muslim, and the main body, we mean concerning the main body that represent Islam, al-sunnah wal-jama', al-hadith wal-athar. And that is by the person looking to the ulama of the ulama of Ahl Sunnah. So looking to the ulama of Ahl Sunnah. And for those who are in a Muslim country, the Umara. And for those in a Muslim country, also with their Umara, sticking with their leaders. Also, I'm not sure which number we're at.
This was number 6.
Number 7 now.
Oh, number 7 now?
Yeah.
Hey, so number 7, ikhtiyat suhbatun salihah. That a person also, istiqamah, that choosing righteous companions. Choosing righteous companion and avoiding ba'id and ashab al-fisq wasu wal-bidah. So the person regarding, so choosing righteous companions, avoiding companions who are known to be Ahl al-Fisq, Ahl al-Su, Fujur, and also people of Bidah. The next, Ijtinab. Okay, and I mentioned concerning here's ala al-akhlaq al-fadila, that also the person that he tries to beautify his akhlaq by having good mannerism and conduct. So the person also istiqamah, having good akhlaq and conduct. Well, istiqamah also ijtinab al-muharramat wal-mukhalafat. So also the person with istiqamah, avoiding things of mukhalafat wal-muharramat, things that are contrary to Islam and things that are haram. So try to avoid of these things by the things of speech, or by actions, or of that likes. So by speech, avoiding namima, kadhib, ghiba, and the likes. And also al-istiqama of trying to, al-hadar min al-waswas al-shaytan. That a person try to avoid falling into waswas al-shaytan.
Next point, sir.
That's the next point, that's additional. So we have ijtinab al-mukhalafat wal-muharramat, that's one point. Then the next point after it, another point is regarding al-hadar min waswas al-shayateen, or shaytan. So waswas from the shayateen, that avoid falling into waswas. Avoid waswas, as that can take the person off his deen. So those are of those things that can be mentioned regarding asbab al-istiqama. So of those things that can be mentioned regarding asbab al-istiqama. So that inshaAllah ta'ala will end the session for today regarding what we have mentioned regarding after the points that can be taken from this particular hadith. So to mention regarding certain of the points, that overall general points that benefit from the hadith, it shows regarding that, okay, khalas then, leave it if it's finished. Khalas, leave